In the previous lecture, we have studied the introductory part of the current, electricity, and the two laws, that is Kirchhoff's current law, voltage law. Last lecture we had seen how the sign conventions they are used. Now we shall apply Kirchhoff's voltage law to the different loops in a given circuit. So the circuit is given, we shall try to apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law. Now here we shall apply this Kirchhoff's voltage law to the loop A, B, F, G, A. In this circuit, A, B, F, G and back to A. So to this loop we shall apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law. What we had seen in sign conventions, if we are going in the direction of current, potential drop negative. If we are going against the direction of current, potential drop will be positive. If we are going from negative to positive terminal, EMF will be positive. If we are going from positive to negative terminal, EMF will be negative. So that is what we had seen in the sign conventions. Now we shall apply this to this loop. So let us start from this A. So as we move from A to B, that means we are moving in the direction of current. So the product I1 R1 must be negative. So see here, I1 R1, it is negative. Again, when we are going from B to F in the direction of current, so I3 R5 must be negative. So this is minus I3 R5. Again we are going from F to G in the direction of current. Therefore, I1 R3 must be again negative. So this is minus I1 R3. When we are going from negative to positive terminal, that means E1 must be positive. And again we reach to this point A, so that is equal to 0. So this is how we apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law to this loop A, B, F, G, A. And so we got this relation. From this again we can write as, we get here E1 equal to minus I1 R1 plus I3 R5 plus I1 R3. Just we have rearranged the terms here. So this is the equation 1. Okay. Now, similarly, applying Kirchhoff's voltage law to this another loop B, F, D, C, B. This B, F, D, C and again back to B. Now see, how can we do this? When we are going from B to F, that means again we are going in the direction of current. So I3 R5 must be negative again. See here, minus I3 R5. Again we are going from F to D in the direction of current. See carefully. So this I2 R4 must be negative. Here again I2 R4 is negative. We are going from negative to positive terminal. So E2 must be positive. This is plus E2. Again we are going from C to B in the direction of current. So this I2 R2 must be negative. So this is minus I2 R2. And when we reach to this B again, that is equal to 0. Same as before. So this again, we can write this as E2 equal to I3 R5 plus I2 R4 plus I2 R2. So this is equation number 2. So we got the two equations, equation 1 and equation 2 for these two loops. Okay. Kirchhoff's voltage law from these two equations we shall explain. It is also called the law of conservation of energy. Remember, see we had seen before Kirchhoff's current law, it was called law of conservation of charge. Kirchhoff's voltage law, it is called law of conservation of energy. How can we explain this? It can be explained from the equations 1 and 2 itself. What are these two equations? These are nothing but the summation E, which is towards the left side of the both equations, equal to the summation IR, which is the right hand side of the two equations. So what is the meaning of equation left hand side of the equation? summation E. What is E? E is nothing but the EMF. Do you know what is EMF? Long form is electromotive force. But remember, it is not a force, but it is an energy. The definition of EMF is what? It is the amount of energy required to circulate a unit positive charge once around the complete circuit. That is the meaning of EMF. So when we say that to the left hand side we have, say for example, this is E1. That means this is the energy supplied to the charge to circulate through the given loop. So this is the energy supplied in equation 1. Same way, in equation 2, this is the energy supplied to circulate the charge through this complete loop. And hence we say the left hand side of the equation represents that the energy supplied to circulate the charge in the circuit. Now what is the right hand side of the equation? It is nothing but the energy utilized. For example, if we see this equation 1, here whatever at the right hand side of this equation, this is nothing but whatever that current which is flowing through the circuit, as if we shall say there is the power dissipation, that is energy utilization across this resistor, say R1, that is nothing but I1 R1, across this resistor, that is say R5, that is I3 R5, similarly across this R3. So in equation 1 we say whatever at the left hand side, it is energy supplied, whatever at the right hand side, it is the energy utilized. So in all we say that the amount of energy supplied equal to the amount of energy utilized, and that is nothing but the law of conservation of energy. We can apply for all the loops, closed loops in any given electrical circuit, and we can explain how for that loop Kirchhoff's voltage law, it acts as a law of conservation of energy. Okay, now we shall solve one numerical. See, what is given? A battery having EMF 4 volt, internal resistance 1 ohm. It is connected in parallel with another battery having EMF 1 volt and internal resistance 1 ohm. How they are connected? With their like poles together. Remember, when you are solving the problems, numerical, see what is given, that is the important. The major importance of this chapter is that for any exam, definitely you will get the numericals like this. Mostly they are using the Kirchhoff's voltage law. So the Kirchhoff's voltage law, it is much important as far as the numerical part is concerned. Okay, the combination, what is this? Just see here. See EMF 4 volt, internal resistance 1 ohm, that is one battery connected in parallel with another battery having EMF 1 volt and internal resistance 1 ohm. How they are connected? They are like poles together. See here, positive is connected to the positive, negative is connected to the negative. So like poles they are together. Okay, then what is the next? The combination is used to send the current through an external resistance of 2 ohm. That means these two, they are connected to this 2 ohm externally. And what is asked? Calculate the current through this external resistance, that is current through this 2 ohm. Now if we see this diagram, actually in exam you will not get the diagram at all. You will get just the statement. From that statement you have to draw this diagram. Now to draw the diagram, it is not much difficult. The important part is that how to show the currents in the circuit. This is very important, remember. How to show the currents. So when we draw the diagram, now suppose this is a 4 volt battery having EMF 4 volt. So positive terminal, so I have drawn this current like this. I call this as I1. Similarly, another battery having 1 volt EMF, positive terminal, drawn this current I2 in this direction. Therefore, the total current, that is I1 plus I2, it is going through the external resistance of 2 ohm. This is how the situation we can see. So to draw the diagram is important, and the most important again is that how to show the currents in the circuit. Okay, so what is asked then? we have to find out or calculate I1 plus I2, that is current through the external resistance. So once we know this, now we shall see how to find this current. This same diagram, it is drawn here again. Okay. So we shall apply Kirchhoff's voltage law to the loop A, B, E, F, A. See, where is this A, B, E, F, A? So like this. To this loop, we are applying the Kirchhoff's voltage law. Okay. See, we are coming from A to B. There is nothing, no electrical component, nothing is there. From B to E, there is a battery, that is cell, having 1 volt EMF and internal resistance 1 ohm. When we are going from B to E, we are going against the direction of current, remember. And we are going from positive to negative terminal. That means this EMF, it will be -1. And since we are going against the direction, so this is plus 1 ohm into current, that is I2. So what we get then? In this first thing, -1 plus 1 into I2. Okay, then we go here from F to A again. Here again we are going from negative to positive. So plus 4 as per the sign convention we had seen before. So this is plus 4. We are going from lower to higher potential. So plus 4. Again here 1 volt is 1 ohm is internal resistance and current is I1. Again we are going in the direction of current, -1 into I1. And we reach to this A, so this is 0. So this is what is shown here. See here, what is this? This is -1, then plus 1 into I2, that is plus I2, then this is plus 4, then this is -1 into I1, that is minus I1, that is equal to 0. So applying Kirchhoff's voltage law, we get this equation. Okay. So from this equation we can write as I1 minus I2 equal to 3. Say this is equation number 1. Now just we have rearranged the terms, that's all. Okay. Now similarly, applying Kirchhoff's voltage law to the loop A, C, D, F, A. Where is that A, C, D, F, A? A, C, D, F, A, that is to the complete circuit. We are applying this Kirchhoff's voltage law. Now see what we get. Same again. See here. From A we are going to C, nothing is there. From C to D, current I1 plus I2 going in this direction. We are going in the direction of current. So there is a negative sign. Total current, that is I1 plus I2 into resistance, that is 2 ohm. So this is the first term we got. Then next, from F to A, we had seen before, same thing. Here it is seen, minus I1 plus I4, minus I1 plus I4, same. So that is equal to 0. So when we apply Kirchhoff's voltage law to this loop, what we get is 3 times I1 plus 2 times I2 equal to 0. So this is the second equation. So we got 2 equations, for we can say 2 unknowns, I1, I2 are the unknowns, and we got the 2 equations. So simultaneously, we can solve the 2 equations, equation 1 and 2, and we get I1 equal to 2 ampere and I2 equal to minus 1 ampere. After solving the 2 equations, you will get values of I1 and I2, and therefore, what is asked is important. Not I1 and I2 is asked. What is asked? I1 plus I2. Therefore, I1 plus I2, this is 2 ampere plus minus 1 ampere. So this is 1 ampere. So this is the answer of this numerical. Now see here, important thing is that here if we see, then I1 it is 2 ampere plus, I2 it is minus 1 ampere. What is the meaning of this? See here, I1 equal to 2 ampere, that means whatever the direction of I1 which is shown in the circuit, it is correct. Whereas I2 equal to minus 1 ampere, that means whatever the direction shown in the circuit of this current I2, it is not like this, but it is opposite to this. That is the meaning of this. Now, what this indicates, whatever we had shown in the diagram, is it wrong? Not at all. Remember, whatever we have shown it is correct. But the numerical, when we solve it properly, it shows that actually whatever shown it is not in this direction, but it is in the opposite direction. And therefore, instead of coming I1 plus I2, for example, 2 plus 1, if I write then I1 plus I2 will be 3. But since we know that I2 is negative, I1 plus I2, it is not 2 plus 1, but it is 2 minus 1. So this is 1 ampere. So although when we I told you that while drawing the diagram, once we choose the currents in the circuit, whatever the directions they are given in the circuit is okay. But if you apply the proper sign conventions, you get the corresponding plus or minus values. That values play much important role while getting the final value of a current or of a potential difference. So this is the important thing in this numerical. Next one, we shall try one more numerical. See, set of 3 coils having resistances 10, 12 and 15 ohm, they are connected in parallel. Straight away given, 3 coils, resistances are given, they are connected in parallel. Okay, then this combination, this is important. Why this numerically chosen? This combination, it is connected in series. This parallel combination, it is connected in series with this series combination of 3 coils of the same resistances. This is the important thing that student may not understand here. That means first you understand 3 resistors, we can say they are connected in parallel. Next what? Combination is connected in series. That means if all they are connected in series and this is connected in series with this parallel combination, means what? This see here in the diagram. First of all, they are connected in parallel. That is correct. Then they are connected in series, same resistors, 10, 12 and 15. That is also there. And these two, they are connected in series. So this is important. Therefore, this numericality is chosen here. So calculate the total resistance and current through the circuit. When, if the battery having of EMF 4.1 volt, it is used for drawing the current. So the EMF of the battery, it is given. Again, I told you before, whenever we know the statement, draw the diagram. After drawing the diagram, show the direction of current. Here current I, it is shown. Why it is shown in this way? Because battery positive is here. So it is connected. So the direction of current is shown in the circuit like this. Okay. So this is how the circuit it is arranged, and we have to find out the direction of current. Okay, the value of the current in the circuit. Now what is given here? R1 for example, 10 ohm, say R2 12, R3 15 and EMF or V equal to 4.1 volt. It is given. And what you have to find out? 2 things they are asked. Total resistance, that is say R, and the current in the circuit, that is say I. So current and the resistance, that we have to find out. Effective resistance of the parallel combination, that is 1 upon Rp equal to 1 upon R1 plus 1 upon R2 plus 1 upon R3, and from this we get 1 by 10 plus 1 by 12 plus 1 by 15, and therefore Rp, that is equal to 4 ohm. So we got the effective value of the parallel combination of the 3 resistors. Similarly, effective resistance of series combination is, that is Rs equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3, simple thing, 10 plus 12 plus 15, that is 37 ohm. So series combination, value of these 3 in series combination. Total resistance R is equal to Rp plus Rs. So this is 4 plus 37, that is 41 ohm. So this is the one answer. It is asked in the question that what is the total resistance in the circuit? It is 41 ohm. And therefore, current I in the circuit will be V upon R, that is 4.1. It is given, divided by R is 41. So this is 0.1 ampere. So the value of current in the circuit, it is 0.1 ampere. So this is how we can find out the value of resistor and the current in the given circuit. Okay. We shall start to the next topic, that is Wheatstone bridge. Now what is Wheatstone bridge? What is the use of Wheatstone bridge? We shall see in detail. Wheatstone bridge, it is used to determine the unknown resistance in an electrical circuit. So to find out the unknown resistance, Wheatstone's bridge or Wheatstone's network, it is used. Now, how this Wheatstone network it is constructed? The construction of Wheatstone's network, you see in the diagram given. See carefully, I will explain this. The construction of this Wheatstone's network, it consists of 4 points, say this is A, B, C and D. Between these 4 points, resistors P, Q, R and S, they are connected as shown. Again, between B and D, between this point B and between D, there is a galvanometer, it is connected. Whereas between A and C, there is a battery from this A, there is a cell having EMF E, key K, they are connected between this A and C. So if we see this construction of the circuit, that means there are 4 points A, B, C, D. Between A and B resistance, that is P, B and C, Q, C and D, R, D and A, that is S. Between B and D, galvanometer, and between A and C, there is a battery having EMF E and a key K. So this is how the Wheatstone's bridge, it is constructed. Now we shall see how this works. Working of this Wheatstone bridge. When the key it is closed, that means this key K, when we close this key, what will happen? Current it will flow in the circuit. So let I be the current in the circuit. Where is this current? This is the current I in the circuit. Why it is shown in this direction? Because this is the positive terminal of this battery. So the current I, it will flow in the circuit. Okay. So when this current I, as it comes to this point A in the circuit, listen carefully and watch the circuit again. When this current comes to this point A, what happens is, when current comes to A, it is divided into I1 and I2. See here, this is I1, this is I2. It is divided into two, I1 and I2. Again, from point B, see this I1 it is going in this direction. So at this point B, what happens here? If Ig, it is the current in the galvanometer. If the part of this I1, we can say, which is at this B, its part if it is flowing through the galvanometer, that is called say Ig. So what will happen? Remaining part, that is I1 minus Ig, it will flow through this resistance Q. So that is what is explained here. So if Ig is the current in the galvanometer, then current flowing through Q, it is I1 minus Ig. That is one part. And current flowing through the R, then what will be this then? I2 plus Ig, because this is current Ig coming here at D. Also this I2 it is coming at D. So current through this R, it will be this I2 and this Ig. So this will be I2 plus Ig. Okay. Applying Kirchhoff's voltage law to the loop ABDA, to the ABDA, if we apply the Kirchhoff's voltage law, what we get here again? See, we are applying Kirchhoff's voltage law to this ABDA. So what we have here? In the direction of current, so this is minus I1P. Again in the direction of galvanometer current, so this is minus Ig into G. Remember here, G, it is not only the symbol used for the galvanometer, but it is the resistance of the galvanometer. So when we say this current Ig, it is passing through galvanometer, that means it is passing through the resistance G, and therefore it is minus Ig into G. Similarly, when it is going in this direction, we are against the direction of current I2. So this will be plus. So this is plus I2 into S. So this is equal to 0. we get this equation number 1. So applying Kirchhoff's voltage law to this A, B, D, A, we get one relationship. So this is one equation. Applying Kirchhoff's voltage law to the B, C, D, B. B, C, D, B. This is simple now. What we get now here? Minus I1 minus Ig into Q. Then opposite. So this is plus. We are going in this direction. So this is plus I2 plus Ig into R. I2 plus Ig into R. Then we are going in this direction. So against the direction. So this is plus Ig into G equal to 0. So this is the second one. So we got the two equations. When current in the galvanometer is 0, that is Ig equal to 0, that is potential difference at B is equal to potential difference at D, we say the bridge, it is balanced. When the bridge is balanced, that means potential at both these points, they are same. So no current will flow through the galvanometer. So this Ig becomes 0. So when Ig equal to 0, substituting in equations 1 and 2, say what we get? When Ig equal to 0, we get minus I1P plus I2S equal to 0. This indicates that I1P equal to I2S, one equation. Similarly, in the second equation, if we substitute, we get minus I1Q plus I2R equal to 0. So we get I1Q equal to I2R, equation number 5. Dividing 4 and 5, we get P upon Q equal to S upon R. If you divide these two, we get this equation. So this is called the balancing condition for Wheatstone bridge. If the values of any three resistances in the bridge are known, the value of fourth resistance can be determined by using the balancing condition. So this is about the Wheatstone's network or the Wheatstone bridge. So today we had seen in this lecture the numerical based on the Kirchhoff's voltage law and the Wheatstone network or the Wheatstone bridge, its balancing condition, how this Wheatstone network, it is used to determine the unknown resistance. Thank you.